We have a second guest here.
Yeah, this is my sitar.
I thought you were gonna play guitar, and I knew that was.
You knew it, huh? But the body's a musical instrument.
Oh, it is. Yes, yes, great metaphor.
So,
because honest, these are the keys. Okay,
no,
you tell the story.
No,
you tell the story.
no, it's true.
Yeah.
It's like as intricate as Ravi Shankar's sitar. So then there was another style of touch-based healing in the 80s, which was just taking your hand and let me have your one that broke.
Yeah.
And so you just start playing with fluid, liquid movements. You're not pressing at all. You're just
feels so gentle and
playing
lovely.
with, and you give your shoulder up. Just give it up. Give it up. Wait,
Wait, hold on. I gotta sit.
I'll wait for
straight.
you to
Okay,
give
hold
it
on.
up.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just start to let the movements go through.
Well, first, I just want to say hello to everyone who is watching this on the Abundant Living Ecuador YouTube channel. I'm Chiyoko with the Abundant Living team, and I am here. It's an honor to be with Buddha. We are in Vilcabamba, and we'll share a little bit more about what it's like to live here in Vilcabamba.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's amazing, and your lovely home.
If I showed you, reverse the camera, you would see where we are.
Yeah.
We're in a tropical paradise.
And you've got a little food forest going over there too.
Oh my God, we have so much.
It's incredible. The abundance that happens here in Vilcabamba. And to kick things off, I'll say and introduce a little bit of what we're doing here today on this video. So this is part of our Practitioner Spotlight series of YouTube videos, specifically on people who work within the health and wellness industry. So a lot of healers, medical practitioners, people, everything from medical doctor to more on the mystical edge, because it is all wholeness and oneness. Everything is connected. And so Buddha will be talking a lot about his practice that he does today, and a lot about your backstory and journey of how you got to doing what you're doing today. And it's great because we are hosting a retreat. Those of you who've been following the channel, in October of 2023, we'll be hosting a health retreat here in Vilcabamba by the Abundant Living team. And Buddha is going to be one of many amazing practitioners who we have here. But I'd love to give a little introduction, if I may, to you, Buddha, and your highlights. Your journey has been so wide and so vast over so many years that I was pulling a few things that felt particularly pertinent to the topic of health and wellness retreat for October,
right,
and the work that you do in groups with people. Yeah. So you'll be focusing on workshops, so group work, and Buddha's been doing this for many decades, and your practice has evolved over the years tremendously, I know. Yeah. All right, so bear with me here as I rattle off a few things.
I will listen attentively.
Exactly, and correct me where I go offline here. So the first thing I want to speak about is a practice that you were the founder or co-founder of. So ARUN Conscious Touch. You can watch my notes as I'm following down here.
Okay.
ARUN Conscious Touch is a practice in the early 90s, 1994, that you established it. And it can be described as amazing healing and meditative approach to the vibrating electromagnetic energy field and consciousness as an organic unity.
Yeah, that's a big sentence, but if you can dial into each word, it's pretty interesting.
We're going to get there. We're really going to get there. Yeah.
Sorry, Chiyoko, we have to take you back a little.
Oh, that was just the beginning highlight. I got a couple more things, and we can go anywhere you want to.
This was coming much later.
So this is, and I think it's very closely related to the work that you still continue to do today,
absolutely,
in the workshops as well that you host. And taking a step back, because it's been over 40 years that you have been in this journey.
It's a year or two away from 50 years.
Close.
It's 1 year away from 50 years, 49 years.
That you've been immersed in the study of I'll say the human form, our physical body, mental, spiritual, emotional, and the wholeness.
Oh, but excuse me, just for everybody. Before I got involved with yoga and the inner journey, my whole life was around athletics. I was totally into athletics, and even got a scholarship from a very famous NBA coach recruited me.
You can name drop if you want to.
Bernie Bickerstaff, man, he was such a great coach. But that was in the very beginning of 1970. And so I knew my life was always going to be around the body. but I knew
Interesting.
nothing, even though I was at a very high level of Western approach to wellness, because
Yep.
the athletes are the people that are well,
Yes.
it didn't know anything about the inner
Yeah.
world.
It's like scratching the
Yeah.
surface. And it's amazing how far you made it in athletics,
Yeah.
right? Which is the physical, typical athletics, especially Western, is just the physical strength of the
But
body.
I just talked to Bernie maybe a year ago on the telephone. It was so
Yeah.
sweet. And I said, do you remember I predicted back in 1973 that every professional athlete will be doing yoga?
Did you really?
And he said, yes, I remember.
He
And he
did.
said, not only
Yeah.
that, but I heard you're involved with like osteopathy and body work.
Yes.
And he said,
Yes.
every team has really good body workers. But every
Absolutely.
team, it's such but I'm only talking about basketball because I know it firsthand.
Yeah.
But all the sports, you see the people, you see the trainers are actually doing really good.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to get into touch-based healing, which we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Because we had a trainer, a big, fat, beautiful, funny
Yes.
black guy,
Uh-huh.
and Willie Moore, and whatever we would, you get hurt a lot playing high-level
Oh,
basketball.
absolutely. Yeah.
And he would take people that couldn't walk, do some stuff, use ice, use heat, use ointments.
Yep.
And this
Yep.
person was good to go in a couple days.
Wow.
And they were like, really? It even happened to me, and I
Yeah.
said, I've got to learn how to do that. This is
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, I digress. But
It's all related.
Yeah.
It's all important. We're going to go fasten your seatbelts at home. You're watching this. We're going to go all over the map, and it is all connected because we've had such enjoyable conversations together. And you have brought up about your past, and you have one of those stories where I think in hindsight, you can see how one thing it seems like from the perspective at the end of the experience, it all was somehow intentionally lined up. But in the beginning, you don't know where it's going. And that time as a professional athlete or getting to the level of professional
I wasn't going to be envious.
So there.
But I had people saying, oh, you could go to Europe because their leagues were not at anywhere. But then by my fourth year, I realized, man, this is no way I can do this.
Well, I bet a lot of people watching, I know I can very much relate to that thing where you think for a while that that's going to be the thing. Yeah. You're on the path and you're so committed. And maybe we can talk about that if we can keep track of all the things, is when to realize or when to actually take action on that little knowing inside that your path is about to take a turn for something different, and be able to have that ability to go in a direction where you don't have the experience, the street cred, the confidence, the accolades.
He's really saying something.
And to be able to give that up, and you probably had a 50-year career as your celebrity basketball was rising in your head. And when to know to actually take a step, a leap to something else.
No, but you got to realize this was the beginning of the hippie era also. Yeah. So at the same time, we're starting into the whole free love, opening consciousness, music. And then the competitive aspect of sports started to fall away. And then the early spiritual people in America, like the Ram Dass and many of these people started getting into the culture, organic food. Yep. I was in San Diego, the first organic food co-op in San Diego. I was a founding
the first organic food
member.
So those of you in San Diego are familiar with
the first OB People's Food Store.
Here.
No, I didn't found it, but how
part of the movement.
They ask people to join as members.
Yeah.
And OB People's Food Store in Ocean Beach, it's still rocking.
That's incredible.
They give me a discount every time I go.
The things you've seen, the experiences you had. I mean, I'm grateful for exactly my life and everything I've done, but I'm a little jealous of some of the things that you've adventured and done.
It's really, I understand. I get the same thing, but everybody has a story. Everybody listening to this, everybody has really but it just takes to put the right spin on it, like you alluded to before, that everything is part of your evolution.
Yeah, it's all the heroes or heroines' journey.
Yeah, and I think we all have amazing things.
It's so true. I'm so positive in the truth that you're speaking. I say the prince and the pauper have the same life. It is just in a different costume.
Yeah,
absolutely. Level of opportunity for joy or stress, of fear or confidence. Right. It just is a different stage, a different play, a different theatrics of what that life looks like. So I'm going to continue to brag about you for a little bit more and finish off this introduction. We're still in the introduction, by the way, but we're touching on some of the great things we're going to get to, almost as in a teaser of some of the parts of your history that I think are so profound. I know you'll speak to them, that influence the work that you do today really greatly. So even before the actual 40 years of kind of a mind, body, spirit study of the human form, right? And all that from a healing perspective. You were an athlete at the very high level of athletics. And within the past 40 years, there was a 2-decade period, 20-year period, where you spent time directly living in ashram, in community and commune with the Enlightened Mystic Osho.
Yeah.
And for those people who are familiar with Osho, that's a jaw-dropping moment right there. I know when I heard that, I'm a yogi. I've been so passionate about studying yoga philosophy. I've read Osho's books. I've listened to the lectures. I've seen some of the videos.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
And when I realized, one, it's not you just met the guy, but the depth of your experience working so closely with him was part of your training. I'm going to rattle this off. In the 70s, under Osho's direct guidance, you began teaching the Osho Neo Yoga and Active Meditations.
Yeah.
And then in the 80s, training over 1,500 people in the Osho Rebalancing and CranioSacral Sensitivity method.
Yeah.
And then at the late 80s, you actually evolved, life progressed, journeyed on to work directly one-on-one with Osho in session, private session. He selected you.
God, it sounds good.
To be his. I know, you let me talk here. I'm going to have a whole.
I like it. No,
Osho selected you. Okay, we got to get to this thing here. To work with him for over 150 sessions as his personal selected touch-based doctor.
Yeah.
And I'll hand this over to you in just a moment and say, I'm curious when the ARUN Conscious Touch practice that you now have that name for, how that methodology came through for all of this. And just pause that thought, be deep in thought for a moment here, because I forgot something in the very beginning. You're going to watch me do the marketing thing right now to say to the viewers, please make sure that you subscribe to the Abundant Living YouTube channel. Exactly. He's got it. Hit the like button. And also the last one, hit the bell. That way you get notifications when there's more content.
No, it's really good. Let me talk about you guys, because I've known Jesse from the beginning of being here.
Yes.
And we played. It was my last foray into basketball, but they were having right across the street from us. They had a professional sized basketball court with glass backboards.
Okay.
And there was at least 20 of us at the time that liked basketball. So
this is here in
I'm
Vilcabamba.
60 years old already.
Yeah.
I haven't played basketball for I don't even know how many decades.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, but it's still in my blood,
Oh, yeah.
And so I go, and these guys are all, I think I met Jesse, he was in his late 20s, maybe.
He was probably just about 30 at the time. Yeah, that's correct.
And because I was in real estate before I got into Osho,
that's right.
When he and his, I forget the guy's name, his black partner in the very beginning, but beautiful guy, they were both really good, pretty good basketball players.
Yeah.
And so I'm with them, and then he tells me about real estate, and I say, oh man, Jesse, this place is just going to grow. It's got all the signs. Yeah. It's a perfect place for people interested in health and a quiet lifestyle. It doesn't have the glit and glamour of many places, but it has something so deep. So I've always been kind of watching his company grow. Yeah. And then when he started having retreats and things, I said, wow, Jesse, this is so great. And really bringing a heart into selling property and people like we bought this property maybe 13 years ago, and me and Anasha, we love it. But anyway, so
thank you for mentioning that
about the retreats.
It's important because I think like any person should always examine, question, do their homework on, okay, who are the people hosting the retreat?
Exactly.
What's it going to be like? What are the energetics? And I think this is so important. People bring the energetics that create a container for an experience. And the people who we have running this retreat, you just spoke to Jesse, Brandon.
Brandon's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And Carl and Brian. I can't help but mention everybody.
Carl was he was helping with our first retreat we did here. We did a 2-week retreat in 2012.
Yeah.
And Carl was right there assisting with the food.
Carl's got that personality.
He was young then, man. He was like,
I feel like he's still young now, but
he is, yeah.
He's seasoned Vilcabamba. He's been here.
No, he's been here the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he did come. Him and his brother came here from
He has great energy too. And so Carl is involved in this October Health and Wellness Retreat. And so these are the people, and you know them. And to speak to knowing people for over 10 years on the family side, right? We're all such close community here. You know their kids.
It's true. No,
their kids, everything.
Wow, I'm trying to. When she fell and got in a car accident, and she's like can't move her neck, she comes and the kid, she was only 10 at that time.
Wow.
And you just do a little bit, you do, and then I don't know. Sometimes kids are more innocent than older people. But she just somehow trusted that that this injury could heal.
Yep.
And it was better in a day. And
wow.
I tell you, if she would have gone to a medical doctor, they would have had her on tranquilizers, in a splint, and she was good to go right away. But yeah, I know all their kids.
And this is the community, and this is what one of the many things that makes me so proud to be part of this retreat is this is what we're welcoming people into. So you think about anyone thinks about the healing container, right? People who are either into health and wellness, they're in pretty good health and they're wanting to optimize. They're wise, they want to get more knowledge, they're up for the challenge to try new practices and just keep evolving themselves mentally, emotionally, physically. And also there will be people attending who are really looking to heal from something. Maybe it's a chronic pain or chronic illness. And so this community that Buddha's describing, the people here, you can't see the food forest, but the nature, we're welcoming people into this specific environment that we are going to set up as best as we can. And then also there's a little bit of magic going on. There's just an energetic field. I have been introduced to more phenomenal people in Vilcabamba. I've been here under a year, 10 months about, and folks I've met in the time, just the past 1 to 2 months of being involved with this retreat, who a few I didn't even know were in Vilcabamba. So I'm widening my connections.
It's a great place in that sense. Like there's people that don't know us here.
Yes.
And we've been here all the time, and I don't know a lot of the people. And many people are like us. We go into the social part of Vilcabamba once or twice a week. And then we have I call it a Taoist retreat.
I say you live in an oasis. So
we live in a healing sanctuary. And there's a lot of people that, and it gives you a good balance here of being with people and being alone. And that suits me and Anasha.
Very, very nice. Everyone finds their own kind of energy here, I think, and what's right for them.
There's a lot going on here that I'm not at all aware
of. Probably, my sense is the right things find you. How about that? We found you. We showed up at your house.
No, Jesse came here. He's had many sessions, so is a day, and the kids. And
absolutely.
I mean, I don't want to say I was planting the seeds, but I was certainly germinating the seeds of this 7 years ago with him.
Wow.
When we were having sessions here and saying, man, you've got access to people and this is the place. Because we bring people, I think we've had like 6 retreats of 2 weeks.
Okay, and this is you and Anasha, your wife, partner of many decades.
We've been together 38 years.
It's so beautiful. Okay.
Anyway, so where are we?
So we are
Let's
right
talk
on
about
track.
me again.
We're right on track. You like that, right? You like that. So actually, I'm about to hand it over to you because I highlighted some of the things that I just found a big wow, which is connecting to my personal journey as me, and then also as someone who's one of the hosts or hostesses of this retreat. I'm curious for just from your perspective, if you lean into a workshop that you host, right? It could be more than just one day. So a couple of day workshop we're talking about for you to potentially be hosting. And what are some of the experiences that you either provide for people, or how do you describe the essence of what it is that you're doing in group session with people? What does that look like?
All right. If you listen carefully, you don't have to come to the workshop. You'll already have everything I could tell you.
You're not supposed to tell them that.
No, I'm joking, but
But I don't doubt what you're saying. I will say,
mentioned how did I go from rebalancing, which was basically we brought, it's like a fusion. In the 70s and 80s,
okay,
there was also a musical fusion happening. Eastern, Western were coming together.
Yeah.
And the great people like Santana was part of that. There's a lot of really great. George Harrison, of course, is the godfather of bringing East and West together in music.
Absolutely.
And that already that was in the 60s, and that planted a seed. I'm going to India. I didn't know when or how, but But anyway, so rebalancing was a fusion of deep body work, which is the Rolfing postural integration that changes your structure. And then, and so this is kind of deep, it's very strong. And if you go through a 10-session series, which I was doing with people, their body before and after, it's a pretty dramatic picture. I believe it.
It's in 10 sessions. So is that like an intensive? Is that one per week? Or how does
it could be one per week. It could be 2 a week.
Okay.
Many ways. But so then there was another style of touch-based healing in the 80s, which was just taking your hand and let me have your one that broke. And so you just start playing with fluid liquid movements. You're not pressing at all. You're just
so gentle and
playing
lovely.
with, and you give your shoulder up. Just give it up. Give it up. Wait,
hold on. I gotta sit.
Oh, wait for
straight.
you.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just start to let the movements go through, and you see
like a gentle ocean wave that's going.
You see what the it's focused on the joints, but Milton Traeger, the man who developed this, was the man who brought Maharishi Mahesh Yogi to America. Him and his wife, Emily, who, this is a whole nother story, but these people, you think I was amazing with his background is unbelievable. So anyway, I met him and his teacher. Not one of his main teachers. And so I learned his method, which is almost like the Rolfers would say, this work doesn't help anybody. And the Traeger people would say, this is brutal. You're pushing pressure. You're using your knuckles.
So kind of these siloed schools of thought or modality.
And they were really like, classical music and rock and roll.
Right. You don't bring heavy metal to the symphony.
You don't bring in Queen to bring them together, or, Bohemian, all of a sudden. And this was in the atmosphere in the 70s and 80s that I'm very grateful I just rode a wave. And so we and then nobody then was talking about meditation.
Right.
Like that touch can be used to actually understand yourself. And to watch inside and to find deep peace. So we bring these 3 pieces together of rebalance and also emotions. Nobody wanted to deal with, I have a tight body because there's emotions in there. And so
which we all know is so true. I mean, that it's so.
I mean, Ida Rolf wouldn't even touch it. And by the way, I think Ida Rolf should have got a Nobel Peace Prize for her work, but she clearly separated body structure from body emotions. And we brought it all together, again, because of Osho, and it was called rebalancing. And I was there right at the birth of it, and I was chosen to be one of the people. And then in 1982, I started teaching, and everybody, our trainings were 3.5 months. Everybody just, there's thousands of people that have just percolated the whole world. And so that was very interesting. So rebalancing was that. But then when I did actually work with Osho's body, because I'm going to just throw this out, but Osho was in jail for 12 days in America. And 10 of those days, none of his people, who we had really good lawyers, nobody knew where he was. He came back and said he feels he was poisoned. And so then when we went back, when we left Oregon and we went back to India, he had terrible pain in his right shoulder that he never had before. And his whole spine was different. And by the way, I've heard of this kind of work that's been done on many doctors that are working with cancer.
Okay.
But this I digress way too much.
Yeah.
But it does fit in that we believe the body can heal itself from everything.
I'm just realizing that the 150 sessions that you did with Osho as his private, like the touch healing doctor, was that after the jail period?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
it probably
my
wouldn't have
God,
happened
that makes
without
sense
that.
because it was in
It probably
the
wouldn't happen.
80s.
And he always called me his doctor, but
Yeah.
he would say a doctor of
That makes sense in the
meditation
timeline. Okay.
and doctor of touch. But there was other doctors where we had Japanese people that worked with the effects of Hiroshima that were saying, oh yeah, this is thallium.
Yes.
And so we had a lot of people, and he didn't survive that. He died within, I would say, within 5 years or his body died.
Yes.
His electromagnetism is alive and cooking, but his body definitely deteriorated. So I was doing that, and so that's when ARUN Conscious Touch was.
Okay.
Because I started seeing that whatever we do with touch, whatever modality, it's bringing you into presence, it's bringing you into the moment, and you're watching inside. You're watching inside with love, with awareness, and that's what heals. And so when Osho died and me and Anasha are going to go out in the world, what are we going to do? I don't want to teach a technique. I don't want to teach rebalancing even.
Right.
I felt I had grown out, like the Beatles split up.
I
had great times with all of us that created.
You had a couple platinum hit records there in your history.
We
I know you did. I know.
But I felt that it's time to leave this behind. And then when Anasha came into the mix, and she has such a deep breath awareness coming in through Vipassana and her studies in Germany. So we said, we can't teach a technique.
Okay.
I could teach it. I could teach Thai massage. I could teach yoga, but I don't want a technique.
Yeah.
And what is the universal thing about touch? It raises consciousness.
Yep.
If it's done with that intention.
Exactly.
If it's done with, I'm going to fix you, we're in a totally different movie. But if it's done, I'm going to help you see this shoulder.
Connection to the field of knowing.
And see it related to your whole organism, related to your whole life. Yeah. And that felt really good to me. I could get behind that.
So another moment when you knew a diversion of the path was about to happen, and it was time to evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that background, it's like, oh my God. But touch, I just want to say about human touch is probably the most miraculous thing in existence. It's like, it's unbelievable what happens through touch. Yeah. And with ARUN Conscious Touch, why do we call it conscious touch? Conscious means meditation, means awareness, means inner. Touch is a code word for love. Even the way you pick up your cup, there can be mechanical, or there can be, this cup is so beautiful.
But to do it with consciousness
and to do it with, I'm not trying to change you. I'm accepting you as you are. This changes the whole gestalt of touch.
Wow.
And you still get the healing aspect, because throughout the centuries, what is one of the main healing, what even acupuncture is an extension of touch. Shiatsu, the Buddhist work that came out of Buddha that became known as Thai massage. This was used for centuries. Yeah. And then in the West, in the 60s and 70s, touch was healing people. Like so many things that doctors and medicine, I mean, normal doctors, they can't touch it. If you have a good health practitioner, you're going to heal from a lot of things.
Absolutely.
And
it's all connected. This is the, Western medical system is all, it's separate, it's siloed, as if the body is these fragmented pieces here. And I think with that touch, it brings the wholeness back.
And we weren't the only people, like Osho's people. By no means do I think we were the only ones doing fusion. Fair. And from the 70s and 80s, the East and the West started coming together. Yeah. And you know, it's my main interest. So if I hear about some new discovery about the body,
Yeah.
I'm on it, you know.
Yeah.
And how does this fit in? And conscious touch, if I call it Thai massage or craniosacral,
Yeah.
there's a certain, I'm in a box. It's
I
a
get
good
it.
box. It's a
I get
great
it.
box.
Yeah.
Even if I do sensual massage, I mean, I tell you, the world needs touch.
Yes.
Any type, reflexology. If you're good with reflexology, you can do some really miraculous things with. And I saw all this, and so I wasn't. It's almost like I was, you know, a spiritual anarchist about body work. You know, because every body work like osteopathy, you know, it'll take 3 years before they even tell you what to do with the head, you know. It's just, and it's great. I love osteopathy. Many, I've trained in it. I've trained in chiropractic, but they're all a little bit like a religion.
I was going
This
to say
is the right
extremely
way.
linear. Yeah.
This is the, and I don't dislike it. I don't know if you can understand me in an interview like this, but I think this is great.
Yeah.
But for me, I wanted to go into the mystery of human touch.
I'll offer,
and if I got aligned to anything, this is the best.
Exactly.
This is the best way to do it. You know, today it's good to be really soft with you. Next time, I remember Moshe Feldenkrais, another one of my people I learned a lot with, though I never met him. But he's so gentle. By the way, if you want to learn about the human skeleton,
I was wondering when our guests would be arriving.
If you want to learn about the joints and how to free tension between the bones, Moshe Feldenkrais is a genius. And so he was known as extremely soft. So this boy, about 12 years old, he's been kind of paraplegic all his life. And very fragile. And everybody's always, you know, let's be careful. I don't know his name. Let's say Johnny.
Okay.
And he comes and he sees he had this disorder where one side wasn't working like the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
So he comes in and he's on him like pressure and almost treating him roughly from the outside. But somebody that touches like Feldenkrais, even if they shake you, it's actually not going to be rough.
Yeah.
And this boy, he lit up and he said, nobody has ever touched me like that before. Everybody's always been careful with me. And that set up a healing process.
Okay.
So why did I tell that story?
We were introducing our friend here.
Right, the body and...
well, is it about the fluidity and movement by any chance? Because I was noticing as you were kind of doing the little hand wave hello, that these joints, it's interesting, the bones are so strong, but there is such a limberness.
The body's 80% fluid.
And the fluidity.
And this is what we've lost touch with. So if you can reconnect with everything, even my most tense, you know, if there's fluidity in it. Otherwise I would be dead, you know.
Yeah.
It's like in an old tree, there's still a lot of sap. So conscious touch, we try to connect with that. But we use the whole rainbow of touch.
Yeah.
In a workshop, what I can say many people have said is that their sense of touch has changed. They have a totally different because what is life? Okay, we can say, I'm a human being.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're human beings. Anasha likes to say we are breathing beings. Okay, I like to say we're touching beings.
Okay.
Like I'm talking to you, I'm talking to the people that listen, and the vibration of my voice and what I'm saying touches them. So in if I look at you and I'm touching you in this moment. You can say other things, but
so well beyond the physical.
If I drink this, which I'm going to have a drink.
Exactly. The powerful watermelon juice.
Watermelon juice touches me, and
don't be
then
misled
it becomes
by the coffee cup.
But then, okay, so touch. I already said it means love. It's a code word, but touch means two.
Meaning that it takes two, are we talking about human engagement of some kind?
I touch my own leg.
Okay.
I've got a
so
leg.
Almost like a cause and effect. Like you need the...
No. Well, yes, but what the point I'm trying to make is in every touch there's giving and receiving.
Okay, giving and receiving. I like
And
that.
there's a circle of energy.
Yeah.
But many people don't know how to be touched.
Yeah.
They are on guard. And so a lot of our work, just, you're in a safe space. So we always say, okay, maybe my expertise, it's going to help. But if you can receive without judging and without trying to change, you're going to see the healing effect.
Yeah. My sense is you're really touching people, and I'm going to be real linear here and say, yes, in a physical, structural way, but the essence of what I mean by that is you're touching people in so many more ways that they could even realize or they're being affected.
Yeah.
You know, they can see the eye contact, touch your heart center. I feel your heart center. Your heart center is touching me, and that's a part of a healing container that you offer.
And that's one thing we already dial into in a very introductory sense.
Okay.
Is we have three main centers.
Yeah.
We have the thinking center or intuition or third eye, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have the heart center, which is totally different energy.
Yeah.
And then we have the Hara center, the center of being.
Okay.
So in ARUN, we very quickly show you how your hands deliver the touch.
Yeah.
Okay, so the hand, now we don't have postmen anymore, but I used to say the hand is the postman.
Okay.
But the message is coming from your heart, your third eye, or your being.
Right.
And so that's what I mean. If you start just playing with that idea, you're going to, and so there's a direct energy from my heart through the blood.
Absolutely.
This is not esoteric.
Yeah.
The blood of my hand is 4 seconds ago, it was in my heart.
Yeah. It's the
and then
physical
it circulated.
conduit.
And then I'm touching you.
Yeah.
But I would argue Chiyoko's touching Anubuddha right now.
Well, I was
not. Yeah, I am.
We can bring it to a whole level.
But so whatever I look at is touching me. So if I become more aware of my eyes, I get touched by nature in a different way than if I'm not aware of this circle of energy. So we basically, and then touch is the most natural thing in the world. But because of many reasons around conditioning, we've all become touchy. You know, we're a little bit afraid.
Right.
You know, I'm not sensitive enough, or I'm not. So we try to get underneath this wrong conditioning.
Yeah.
If you like, dehypnotize people that they don't have a healing touch, that the body cannot heal itself.
Right.
These are deep hypnosis in the psyche of most of the planet right now.
Absolutely.
And so I think we get in very quickly, and then we show people how to use pressure, how to have a silent. Some people never even thought, oh, I can just relax my hand.
Right.
I don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
I can just be here, and I can just close my eyes like we did to begin, and I come into presence. And then I mentioned electromagnetism.
Yeah.
So there's a natural sun energy coming out of me, coming out of every human being. That's electric. So we're all miniature suns.
Right.
This is not my creation. Other mystics have talked about this a lot. But if you think about it, you see, oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
And then there's a magnetism. You're touching me.
Yeah.
So if I can let my magnetism open to you, all of a sudden, I'm listening to you. I'm not listening to your mind. I'm listening to your body. And the body knows.
Yeah.
And then if you have this experience, okay, so I listen, now I'm talking. You know, a good conversation isn't one way.
And you're speaking about as a practitioner working with people or in groups of people, there is a dialogue that's happening as well. And I feel through that dialogue, I just want to touch on a couple of things because I've had about 80 thoughts in your time of speaking because I'm resonating really deeply with what you're saying. And I think, yes, to everything that you said, and my sense is that there is even another level of what I'll call like divine wisdom that's flowing through you as a channel. And you said this before, this isn't your energy or your doing because we're all connected. You're rechanneling and you're helping people.
That's a pretty big thing you're bringing up.
I like to go big and bold. What do we don't play small here. You know, we don't play small. And so maybe you can even reframe or use your own words, but that's just a strong sense that I have because it comes into my philosophy, and people might share this or have different opinions. It's all good. But just in conversation with you is that there is a much bigger story that's happening in addition to your profound skill for 40, 50 years as a practitioner with individuals and groups. Yes, on a human level. But there is such a bigger reconnection, and remembering is the word that I like to use, that I feel you
I
can
like
bring
what
to
you're
people.
saying. I like
You're helping them remember that your touch, your hand is actually those leaves over there and those flowers in your food forest. You're remembering this unity of everything, collective consciousness. You're helping that person just reconnect to that. And it's not like they didn't know. It's just often I'll put myself right in this category, we forget. We get so caught up in the human thing. We get so out of whack. This is where disease, illness, chronic pain, all of this stuff manifests when we're in either a lower state of consciousness or little toxicities, lots of toxicities, doing the human thing, because it's not easy doing the human thing. Yeah. And we're trying to do well, but it is challenge. And that is the beauty of being human, is that we are challenged. And I think what you bring to the table, literally, as people are laying and being, you bring to the table is a remembering of this connection. You are a wonderful, skilled conduit and channel. Yes, you have your own your intellect and your wisdom and your experience, but something bigger than you is flowing through you. And thank you for being an instrument for that, is how I would frame that.
Yeah, it's really touches me how you see it. Already, even when the first thing I taught to groups was yoga. Yeah. And I would always be open to not have a program. And then when I started in 1980 teaching body work, touch-based healing, I know the subject. You know, if we want to talk about,
we have a second guest here.
Yeah, this is my sitar.
I thought you were gonna play guitar, and I knew that.
You knew it, huh? But the body's a musical instrument.
Oh, it is. Yes, yes. Great metaphor. So, because honestly, these are the keys. Okay, you tell the story.
No,
you tell the story.
No, it's true. It's like as intricate as Ravi Shankar's sitar. And so where was I going with that? So there's some things you can know. This again, a lot of these things, these seeds were planted with Osho. Yeah. So there's the unknown, the known,
yes,
and the unknowable.
Yes, and I'm familiar with this.
So the unknown, you don't know what the sacrum attaches to the pelvis here. So in 2 minutes you can see, the sacrum attaches, and then you know that.
Right. Right.
And then,
it's knowable.
You never knew that the main muscle for balance is coming from in front of your spine, your hip joints. And you didn't know that.
Yeah.
But then if you stop with that, then you'll never get to the unknowable.
Yes.
So that's I think that's why Osho let me, because he let me be involved. So, I was very comfortable with not knowing.
Yes.
It's an ancient Upanishad saying, not knowing is the most intimate. So if I,
most vulnerable.
And we do that, I do this, I can think, I know Chiyoko, I don't know anybody.
Yeah.
I know about using pressure. And so I've been channeling my whole life as a teacher.
Yes, thank you.
That's the space I go in. I need a frame to start. Okay, today we're going to look at the pelvic hip joint area. Yeah. And then I don't even know what I'm going to say. And Anasha's the same. We have no idea.
Right.
And people say, what are you going to do in the group? And I say, I don't know who's in the group. I don't know how I'm going to feel that day. Yep. And you want me to tell you what I'm going to do in the group? Are you crazy?
Yeah.
So this is where
I think this is so
marketing
important.
Becomes difficult. Yeah. And it's a miracle.
There's me trying to make notes of what we're going to talk about.
We've done very well with our life.
Yes.
Existence rewards you for being loving and spontaneous. Yeah. So anyway, but But within that, I can tell you that in a weekend you can learn a lot about how pressure has a healing effect, how moving the major joints of the body in a liquid, fluid way.
Yeah.
Immediate and people in the first weekend they touch with a partner, and the partner says they feel better than they've ever felt. And now,
It's incredible.
come on, the logical mind says,
Yes.
but I need it. And then their conditioning, which I mentioned earlier,
Yep.
comes in. No, but I don't know enough.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
but you're
not
a
possible.
human
Yeah, I'm not
being.
capable of doing that.
Yeah, no, I need
So-
to have a doctor's degree, or
Yep.
and this is the programming and so healing. And I think in Vilcabamba that there's a lot of people that were attracted here that are out of that box,
Yes.
and that's contagious. That the body heals.
It is. We are surrounded by, I think, like-hearted and like-spirited people. Our minds are very different. There's a wide variety of characters in Vilcabamba, wide variety. We're not all the same and homogenous, but
Not even close.
It's actually incredible. It's quite entertaining, the cast of characters that we have here. But everyone, there is a like attracts like energy, I think. People who come here who are very much oriented to thriving in life, not afraid to the challenging work to be healthy, to push themselves, to evolve. And we kind of support each other. So some of these modalities, and I know you're not teaching people rocket science. Like, it's not the most complex, so hard, almost impossible to learn. It's just a reconnection.
I teach kids. I mentioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to do things with kids, and I'm thinking here, a girl that was destined for operations with her eyes and Coke bottle glasses, and she's not wearing glasses. Her eyes are fine. It's
incredible.
But touch is I like to say it's the easiest thing in the world to learn about.
Incredible.
And let's face it, it's the forgotten language of love.
We've become very contracted as humans.
People have lost connection with touch. Even the touch almost makes people think of sex or something. It's so many perversions in the natural touching being. And what does a mother do? She touches with love, and people can do that with everybody. You don't have to.
It's so known for baby's development. One of the most powerful things that can happen to the baby is human touch and being held. And there's programs out there that even have volunteers come. Jay and I were just talking about this last week, where you can volunteer to hold babies who either are up for adoption, they don't have homes, whatever it is.
Yeah, come in, Nash.
That can be so healing, and it's not just about prescriptions and trainings. It's I think it's part of the essence of being.
It's coming.
Human.
There's a wave. There's a wave towards destruction going on right now, and there's a similar wave toward creation.
Yeah.
And I know where we put our energy is a wave of creation, and it does take a certain commitment.
I would love to offer. I know there's like 1,000 other things we could talk about. I'm about to say anything else that you feel, compelled to share, talk about, ask me questions, because we've touched on some, I think, very powerful topics here. And the people who are watching this, I know you can feel the depth of where this type of work can go. But anything else top of mind or top of heart at the moment for you?
What should I talk about, Nash?
Comments from the wisdom gallery, I will say.
What should I throw in? I'm joking.
The intuitive hit, exactly. The intuitive hit.
I mean, there's nothing like something like this to show your love for yourself and your love for, like the future always grows out of the present. So to give yourself such a present, it's just your future is going to grow out of that.
Yes.
So who knows where it's going to go?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about Osho. He never told us what to do.
Yeah.
He just said, keep becoming more aware and more loving.
Yeah.
And then you'll find your way, because like we've been saying, we all have our own karma, if you like, our own destiny, our own path. And to come that, yeah, in your notes you mentioned what happens in a group that doesn't happen one-on-one.
Right, right.
In my, because everything I'm talking about, you can play with this at home. But when you come into a group, one of my favorite mystics, the great Russian George Gurdjieff, talked about what happens in a group.
Yes.
And it's like one person alone cannot get out of the prison.
No.
But if you have somebody on the outside, somebody there, somebody there.
Yep.
So, and when a group comes together, it works like a focusing of intention that keeps exponentially expanding for everybody. So what I always tell people is be yourself. Just come in, be yourself, bring whoever you are. Just relax into it and open up to each day. And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with what can happen in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Really beautiful. Thank you so much in touching on those notes and everything we did. But for people to feel comfortable being themselves on this retreat and in life, I think that's so important, because sometimes there's an intimidation factor of, oh, it's going to be work, or people, who are going, they're going to already be meditating and they've already done work like this, and I'm too new to it. And it's just, you hit it, because it's about community. We're not meant to be singular individual humans. We heal in community. We live in community. We thrive with community, that kind of healing and support of each other. Whatever people show up are the exact right people that were meant to show up there. And each one brings their own honest
self. They create the space.
With all their things, they're creating the energetic. It's a perfect recipe. The only thing you do wrong with the recipe is if you try to pretend to be who you're not. And then the soup gets a little bit weird, because you're pretending, or you're too insecure to hide. And my God, it's okay to have insecurities, but the more relaxed that we can be and trust that you are able to hold this space, that's really all people have to do, is just show up and be themselves.
And another reason we talk about a totally new kind of education is needed. Like the education systems are the disease creators. That's what creates disease, is our modern way of education. It's actually the miseducation. It's like
antiquated, and I don't even know if it was good at any point in history, but it's certainly, we got to watch Buddha here with the sitar.
I'm more aware than you think I am.
Okay, good. Oh, what am I talking about? Never mind.
No,
he's got this.
I've knocked a lot of things over. So on that theme, there's a tremendous poison that all of us have felt with our teachers. The teachers have let us down, and there's a sense that the teacher knows and the student doesn't. And what makes me and Anasha so relaxed with our work, we don't even call it, is we're not teachers. And I'm not above anybody. I'm not above anybody on the planet. I'm not above any animal. And when we're together, we're touching each other. So whoever's there, there's going to be conscious touch happening. And that's why we're very comfortable with that word. And then the other really deep stream that we tap into that I have not mentioned yet is the ancient reality of the medicine Buddha. And everybody is their own doctor. Even Hippocrates said, if you're not a doctor, you're a fool. And so when you put the two words medicine and Buddha together, you have medicine, that which heals. And that's, that's the plants, that's the herbs, that's the water, that's the air, that's the movement, that's the mental outlook, which is so important. And then the Buddha is, you actually get to a place where you're not identified with your pain. You're not identified with your who you are.
That's not the I am.
You become conscious that you have something much more than your body. And if people don't get to that space, they're gonna be.
You think this is it?
And then your mind, there's something beyond your mind. And so that's why we love and Anasha. And I know in the group, maybe you can even talk her into getting involved with the food aspect. But
put a comment below if you'd like Anasha to be involved.
But she's like, food is medicine. And what is, again, it's so sad what's happened. The creator of Western medicine, the founder, let your food be your medicine and let your medicine be your food. Again, that's Hippocrates.
Yeah.
You know how much people know about nutrition when they become a doctor? 3 hours if they're lucky.
It's
and there's no connection to disease in food. Brothers and sisters, there is a very deep connection between food and your disease or your harmony. And many people don't know the simple secrets. And so that's what I mean. Medicine is in, it's all there. And we were just set up to be really in a good place, but we've digressed.
Right.
And that's another reason you need a group. You gotta vibrate, and not just online, you know, like I'm sure a lot of people watch inspiring podcasts in their daily, you know, week.
There's
most people now
there's great content out there.
And most people they have somebody they follow that they really get inspired by them. And that's beautiful, but it's not the same as we still haven't, AI hasn't totally caught up with us. It's
I won't even ask if you think that it will. Don't answer that. That's like an entirely different, it's an entirely different thing. But I will just say I agree with what you're saying. It's yes, and there can be great digital content out there.
It is great.
And it does not replace the in-person energetics that's created.
But mind you, we've done like we did a Osho Neo Yoga 1.5-year training online on Zoom. It was different, like my famous Buddhist teachers used to say, same but different.
Same but different.
But it was just like an in-person
Did
group.
It work? So there is amazing things.
Absolutely. We met last summer, so we go back and we meet some people that did our online group, and we see them at a live group. And I'm like saying, hey, how are you doing?
Absolutely.
You know, we're already very connected.
I love hearing you say that too, because sometimes
so
people,
there is.
Yeah, they get a little stereotypical, like, oh, there's digital's bad, technology's bad. I think it's about the consciousness that you bring to the engagement. And don't miss that sweet thing of touching humans in person. Don't miss out on that.
I don't know if your thing has the capacity, but our interview, you could read it. Yeah. Well, on Zoom.
Yes.
You know, this you put it on YouTube and they have the transcription.
Technology can help.
So,
but it's with what's the intention behind and the conscious energy for all of that. And I think that is a phenomenal place to bring this whole conversation home.
Yeah, let's bring it home. And
maybe have a part 2, because we have so much fun when we're speaking, because this is so fun. And there's so many things you tapped into.
If people want it, I'll do it. But maybe we can convince this girl over here making a fresh juice to get involved.
I can feel the energy of the fresh garden goods coming over here. She's smiling slyly.
She's saying, I don't want to get involved with anything. I'm happy doing anything.
We'll see. So on that note, homework assignments for those watching here, drop in the comments and some likes here. Part 2 of this conversation, maybe some of Anasha's brilliance magic that she can add.
I have to
so many levels. And I got to talk about liking and subscribing and the bell and all that stuff. Do those things. Make sure you do. Okay, you can go ahead now.
Because in the 2 days, I'm going to talk about self-touch. And there's a very beautiful Mongolian method, again from centuries, of how each part of the body has a psychic fear. And that when you touch it with the idea of letting go of that fear, but then you touch it with a bit of skill and love, a lot of healing happens. A lot.
Mongolian heritage?
It's called Chiyoko. If you look on www.buddhalive, you'll see about that.
Okay. And this is your website, right?
Yeah,
that you have. Okay.
It keeps getting hacked. Can you believe
So I did go on it yesterday, and it couldn't.
It hacked?
It said that the connection couldn't be made, but I know you have a guy who's looking into that, so we have to just, do the spirits be gone, all that energy, energetic clearing for the website.
But anyway, we'll do, because you asked what will people take away that they can use for the rest of their life.
Yes.
And that's what I would say also a big part of what I would dial into. What?
Themselves? Yes. In a next chapter of themselves.
My
the
God.
next evolution.
So that was fun, friends. I'll see you later.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Hi to the people that already know us. I know a lot of people.
I know, and you've been on this channel before, so you know a lot of folks. And even folks in Vilcabamba keep up with this channel.
But there's a nice interview with me and Anasha from a few years ago.
I watched that one with Jesse that you did. Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
We'll link to that previous interview so you can feel Anasha's energy too. Hint, hint. All right, guys. Take care. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon on amazing more videos with our health and wellness practitioners.
Come and visit in October. It's October. October. When is it?
October 2023. So about 5 months from now. From time of filming, we're in early May. Get ready.
Live dangerously. That's one of my mottos.
Live dangerously.
Yeah.
That is excellent. I didn't know that, and I'm so glad I now know that. Bye, guys. See you next time.